Oh, I'm live. Hello. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm happy to be here chatting with you today. It is a beautiful winter sunny day outside, and things are really starting to get exciting. I love this time of year. In fact, I love January 23rd. It's a big monumentous anniversary day for me. 5 years ago exactly, as I was reminded this morning by one of my first print book co-authors. She posted this morning that she had become a published book author in an anthology for the very first time. Hello, thank you for calling me fairy godmother. Let me know if you're here. I'm excited for the people who are watching. I hope that my voice, my throat, will hold up for the conversation today. I've got some hopefully great, see there it goes, great information for you. And I'm really excited to start sharing what I've been working on for the last little while, the Book Authors Authority Relaunch Masterclass. And Mastermind Community, which is being relaunched or renamed as Hey Bestseller, which is my premium mastermind community, where I'm creating my training, all of the training that I've done, all of the work that I've done in the last 5 years of publishing books for authors and working with authors privately one-on-one. What I'm doing now this year in 2021 is I'm creating an affordable and accessible training for book authors who are much more do-it-yourself kind of people, which I know there's a lot of you on Facebook who are do-it-yourself kind of authors, the kind of people like I am. I figured out how to publish books myself and how to promote books myself using my past experiences, which we all have varied past experiences, but they can bring value to the efforts that you're going to use moving forward. So I'm really super excited about telling you a little bit about Hey Bestseller and today's content. Every time I look down, I see something funny sticking up from my hair. See it? Good way to make myself laugh. Okay. So today, what I want to talk to you about is 3 fast and low-cost ways to boost your authority, right? So what I really think about, I think differently from most publishers and most author promoters, is I'm not just looking at let's do advertising, let's push the message out there, which is the most common type of book marketing that you see. You see authors posting their book and their link either to Amazon or to their opt-in page everywhere, with no explanation as why people should read it. The only promotion of the book that they're really doing is saying, my book is out and I'm super excited. But what they're not really doing is expressing to the reader why it would be important to them and valuable to them to read the book, why they might enjoy the book. And so one of the things that I really focus on, what makes me a fairy godmother to book authors and to others that I work with, entrepreneurs who I encourage to publish, is what makes me different, what makes me a fairy godmother is that I have consistently throughout my life, I've always been involved in media. I've always been fascinated by advertising, like literally since I was 5 years old. And I'll tell you that story another day. But what really makes me stand out, what I've always been able to do is impact how people look at me, so that when I reach out to them with a request or something that's going to benefit me that I want them to participate in or contribute to or consider or give me feedback on, or talk to me about any requests that I might have for them or buy from me, I have a much better chance of them really sort of like anticipating my phone call. Like when I get on the phone with them, a lot of times people are like, what took you so long to call? I've been watching you for ages. I've been watching your stuff for ages. I know all about you. Like I barely have to tell them anything about me because they know everything about me because I'm putting it out there. They know what I have to offer. And the reason why they ask for, the reason why they're open to a phone call with me, not why they ask for, but why they respond yes to the phone call with me, is because they've seen me in other places, not just on Facebook, not just on YouTube, not on my own channels, but on other people's media channels. Existing media channels, Forbes, Harvard Business Review, Inc., online media channels, multi-contributor sites, community sites, other people's blogs. When you put yourself out there, it helps, right? More people see you. When they see you rubbing elbows, networking with other people that they admire, that they're watching, that they're getting great value from, and somebody else introduces you to them, they're that much more likely to want to engage with you, to really listen and consider what it is that you have to say and what your book and your message and your purpose is all about, right? So I'm going to get into the value right now because I don't want this video to go longer than 20 minutes. Let's see if we can make that happen. Probably I'll end at 15 today, but 20. Okay, so 3 fast and low cost ways to boost your authority. In all honesty, I had written these, but I think I'm going to change the order. The very first one that I recommend, fast and low cost way to boost your authority, write and issue a press release. Make sure that you write this press release in a way that includes quotes and support of your message, not just necessarily your book directly, but of the message from recognizable organizations, from recognizable media channels, from individuals who you want to give a sort of virtual universal thank you to, right? When you mention in publicity exposure that someone has really helped you get to this new achievement, when they see that, not only does it make them feel good and strengthen the relationship between you, but it presents you to your entire audience as someone who, when you help me out, I'm going to help you out as well. And people know that book authors are actively promoting, actively marketing. People think that book authors are natural born marketers and salespeople, which we are not. A lot of people expect book authors to be that way, but when you can, the fact of the matter is it helps. People want more exposure for their own message, for what they're working on. And when you can find the people in the organizations who share your message, why wouldn't you want to include their stories to your audience so that you're not constantly repeating the exact same story, so that you're not personally getting burnt out and wondering, why am I repeating myself all the time? So that you don't always have to change what you're doing and like create a new course because you get bored, or write a new book because you get bored. You can keep on building the audience and the fan base of one particular book by beginning in your marketing, even if the book is already published. And like the content of the book is set, you're not going to rewrite it or re-upload it. You can always find people and organizations that support your same message and invite them onto your own content for a conversation. So inviting them onto your content for a conversation really is a great segue into the second way that I recommend creating content and value for your audience, which will help give so much authority, is really starting your own show. Now, this can be video, it can be audio on Clubhouse, it can be a podcast, it can be articles. I love doing video. I guess I struggle more with writing. Maybe as an author, you really don't struggle with writing, or maybe you do struggle with writing about yourself or about your message, or multiple times in articles. You know, the book itself can be hard enough to write, right? So the second way, once you issue a press release, it does all sorts of great things aside from the search engine optimization. The number one value of the press release is the fact that you get out there when you're going to be reaching out to organizations and individual influencers, media channels, journalists, leaders of organizations that you want to work with or bring into your activities. When you reach out to them, the fact of the matter is they're going to Google you, like a first date, like a first blind date before you go on the blind date. You still Google people, right? They're going to Google you before they reach out to you to decide whether or not to reply to your email, whether or not to reply to your voicemail. They're going to Google you. And the most important thing, the most valuable thing you can do for yourself if you have no media exposure so far is issue a press release, because then the top of Google search results will be full. When people search for your name and your book title, the top of Google search results will be full of your message, your story in your controlled format, including quotes from your readers and quotes from organizations that you strategically selected. The problem with real publicity, and especially when you're just, Google you, right? Google me. And I encourage people to Google me, because that's the most important thing, right? Like, people are going to Google you. Google yourself when you're using Google alerts. And that's the best thing about sending out press releases, is we know that organizations who spend a lot of money on search engine optimization, on search engine marketing, which is paid clicks for searches from Google, organizations that are spending millions of dollars a year on paid clicks from searches on Google, they're using Google alerts in their PR department, their advertising department, their CEO. They're using Google alerts to be alerted by email every single time a new page goes up anywhere on the World Wide Web that gets crawled. They're using Google alerts to be alerted of information going up. So when you include organizations that you want to work with, or organizations that are like the organizations you want to work with, you can include their name and even better, a link in your press release. And it's a really strong likelihood, if they're using Google alerts, they're going to get alerted of your press release and go read your press release. And if they love what you're talking about, then of course, when you call them, they're going to be happy to speak to you. At least to see what's going on, what you're talking about, at least to say, congratulations. Yes, I've seen your stuff. That's the best thing. When you get on a call with an organization that you want to work with, that you want to convince them to work with you, and they say, yeah, I've been seeing you around, you know that they're not going to be wasting their time on a call with you if they weren't interested, if they didn't want to move forward to work with you more. So that's, the first thing, Send out press releases and stuff them full of strategic links. Now, I'm not just saying like stuff a million names. The fact with search engine optimization still works in a way that you don't want to have too many keywords. You don't want to have too many links. And the press releases that I send out are only 5 links included. And so you've got to be smart about which links you include, but that is the best tip. And Google Alerts, if you don't have Google Alerts set up on yourself yet, and you're a book author, you're really, really missing out on a great Google tool that makes it easier for you to be more informed every single day about the media opportunities that exist, about the media channels that are talking about your message. So the way you do that is by setting up your Google Alerts using your primary keywords, your name, your book name, and the other authors' names that are like you, because you want to see every time a media channel writes about them, you want to know what media channel is it that's writing about them, what journalist is it that's writing about them, so that you can reach out to them as well. Right? There's real serious value in that. So let me get back to creating your own content. The most important thing you can do about this is listen to your gut. When you're thinking about what your primary message is, and you're immersing yourself in all the content that's being created in the world about this message, some of the time when you're reading it, you're thinking to yourself, why is nobody talking about this? Right? Like everyone in the world needs to know, but nobody's talking about it. And I'll tell you that's the content. That's where the gap exists in the marketplace. That is the conversation that you don't even have to be an expert on it. You just have to be willing to host the conversation. And when you host the conversation, you own the production. You could publish a book afterwards. Right? So inviting onto your own show, this could be a limited series. Myself, I don't do more than 1 a month when I'm doing interview shows, because they are very time intensive, but they're super effective at creating great relationships with influencers and authorities for you, but also with your audience. And what is really, really effective when you're doing your own show, and like I said, I only do one episode a month, because they're kind of labor intensive. I don't like to spend more than like an hour a day, maybe, in a month for producing a show. Unless of course I'm being hired by an organization to produce the show for them, then it's dependent on their budget, how much time I'm putting in. But generally for myself, I like to do it in about as much time as my clients might have, right? So 3 to 5 hours a week. And then on the week that you're actually doing the show, it might be 5 to 10 hours in total. So really not more than 25 or 30 hours a month in maximum to produce a show that gives you huge authority. So what is incredible about shows, especially if you can jump on something like Clubhouse and be early in creating this unique conversation, you will attract so much more publicity opportunity, conversation opportunities, stages for you to speak on, because you're not talking about the same thing. You're not talking about what somebody else taught you. You're talking about what you know from experience and what kills you in your gut when you're listening to other people speak on stage or doing their live streams, the thing that you just can't shut up about. And there's a few things like me that I just can't shut up about, even on other people's live streams, even people that I really like. I just have to comment, I disagree. Right. But the thing is, that's what creates strong conversation, is what creates dynamic content for media channels. And they're always looking for both sides of the conversation. The screen is a little bit I'm just getting used to it. When I put my hands up like this, nobody sees anything. It's that media channels are looking for both sides of the conversation. They're looking to repeat and reuse the same conversations and get their audience responding and reacting and replying. So if they know that the majority of their audience is on one side of the conversation, but there's a huge gap, and you are the person to present that information, then of course you're going to be the one who gets the media exposure. So the third way is, we've done creating your own content, press releases. Third way, this might even be the I would say the next easiest after press releases, is as long as you're really clear on your message, you can start writing articles, thought leadership articles for existing media channels. So when I said, set your Google alerts up to include the names of other book authors and book titles that you're just like, when you get those Google alerts saying that a media channel covered that book author, that's when you go to that media channel and you read everything on that media channel to get a really good feel for the voice that the audience likes to hear. Look at which articles on their media channel have the most page views or have the most comments on the articles. Those are the types of articles, both the type of content and the structure of delivering the content, the information to the audience, that the media channel editors want the most. So if you can write an article that obviously integrates that voice, that style of presenting information, and the structure of the article that they recognize, and the length of the article is right along with their other articles that are doing really well in audience. And you can even say, I modeled my article after this particular article that I saw doing really well on your site. Would you like to take my information? They're going to be willing to accept it. There are many, many, many media channels that also pay for content produced. You do have to go through a process of applying to be a contributor, usually. But also there's lots of media channels where you can send them a pitch and they will hire you to produce content for them. It could be just for one article for a couple $1,000s. It could be for, ongoing 4 to 6 articles a month, where they pay you for page views. And then it becomes a game of how much traffic can you drive to your own articles to drive up the page views so that you get paid more for writing for those major media channels, right? Huge, huge, huge authority from these 3 things. One, you're working with celebrities and influencers, and you get to show social proof of other people saying you're awesome rather than just you saying you're awesome all the time. You are filling up the first page of Google and triggering organizations that you want to work with to look at you, to seek out your online fingerprints. And finally, you have the opportunity to make money while putting your message out there in front of millions of people, encouraging them to buy the book, because articles and videos are always going to be a lot more short and not concrete. Like an article or podcast or whatever it is, it's kind of like they consume it and then it's done. But if they have your book, they can come back to it time and time again. So when you're writing articles for other media, what really works, you put your message into the content, and then your byline at the bottom of the article where you say this article's written by Debbie Horovich, blah, 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 you put in one link that brings them to your opt-in page. Because if they've read the entire article all the way down to the bottom and they want to find out more about you, they're definitely the right kind of people that want to buy your book. They might not want to buy your book immediately, but they are more likely to if they've seen you on a media channel, on pretty much any media channel, because people don't go to media channels that they don't respect, right? How much time do you spend on news websites where you don't like their political affiliations for their content, right? You don't. But if you like the content and you get value from the content, then you're going to be that much more likely to want to engage the authors, the creators, the producers of that content, those tips, the information that is really super valuable when you're giving out that value. So, those are my 3 points. I'm coming up on 30 minutes. I screwed it up. Sorry. Too long. But I want you to check out, let's see if I can post the link. Yeah, okay. So I will share with you the link. I wasn't sure if I was going to or not. But listen, I opened up only 10 spots for my master class, my mastermind community. I opened up 10 spots, 2 were pre-sold, 3 have sold this week, and I expect the 5 remaining spots. This is the beta membership to my mastermind community. The price is such a no-brainer that spots have been filling up, and I do expect that the remaining 5 spots will probably go this week. The next live masterclass that I'm teaching inside of the group is on February 6th. So we have really just this last week and then a little bit of prep. You'll be in the community ahead of time, getting used to things and looking around and being introduced to the other members of the community. But I'm really excited about this. I'm really excited about the work that we've already been doing with the authors who have already joined. People are getting value and ideas and support right away from joining in. And even this week, like, we're creating a lot of the content, as I said earlier in this video, we're creating the content that I have never created this process in a training before. So we're creating that training as we go, and the members of the mastermind community are really helping me. They're there for pushing me to create particular training. So this week I had a really great experience with Sabrina Wiggins. She actually was the very first person to join the mastermind community, mastermind community, back in December, November. And this past week, I took her through the process for preparing and making your book into a bestseller. It's a brand new process for me. This is really teaching authors how to make their own books into bestsellers inside of the community, so that normally when someone comes to me and they want me to make their book a bestseller, there's always a little bit of they want an experience. They want an experience that they have in their head, rather than with these authors. And with Sabrina, she really wants to learn. And if you're that kind of person that you really want to understand how things work so that you can do it yourself, that's the kind of training that I'm creating in this community. So inside the mastermind community, every single Tuesday at 6 p.m. Now, this might move around as the community grows, but for now it's Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern. I do a deep dive training every single week. And then there are extra trainings that I do live in the community with some of the community members who have upgraded to have additional time working with me in the mastermind community or privately. When it's in the mastermind community, we schedule those meetings, those working sessions, implementation sessions. We schedule them to stream also live into the mastermind community so that everyone can learn from the work that we do. So that when I create a template with one author, everyone gets access to that template and everyone can ask questions about how to use it and adjust it for themselves. I love reading authors' letters, pitches, documents, taking a look at their website and helping them improve it. And that's what we do inside that community. So it is now 30 minutes exactly. I'm going to let you go for today. I have some other videos that I need to create inside the mastermind community. But thank you so much for watching. If you liked what I was talking about today, if you like this idea of Google Alerts and press releases in your own authority, if you want more information, or if you want to talk about pricing options, payment plans, we can do that too. I'm just, like I'm playing around. That's why it's a beta membership. So I'm testing things, and it is at the moment still an incredible value for what you get to work with me for a full year. So I hope to speak to you soon, and have a great week.